The two high-ranking devils, Lilith and Nama, may merge in the next Black Clover chapter 288, and I will explain why Asta and Liebe are both devil hybrids. Black Clover, here in Yonami. The new chapter begins with Nacht still being stabbed by Lilith and Nama. We then get the information that all of Nacht's devils are actually only mid-rank devils, the same ones that appears after all low-ranking devils of the first layer of Hell were released. This means that Nacht's devils are not that strong at all, as Luck could defeat 4 or more mid-rank devils with just one attack and without any problems. And it makes sense, since Nacht's devils had no specific magic that could help Nacht to get much stronger. He used them to equip his own body, improve his own magic, and use the devil's attributes, but none of the devils actually gave him a new magic ability. And it also explained why Nacht was able to bind 4 devils so easily in such a short amount of time, simply because none of Nacht's devils seemed to have any significant magic that could have stopped Nacht from binding them. Then we have another flashback, Nacht at his brother Morgan's grave. Here it is interesting to mention that between the time of Morgan's death and the moment Yami got his own squad, about 2-3 years have passed, during which time Nacht suddenly developed an interest in Asta and his anti-magic. He somehow found the contact with Julius and thus also the entrance in the Spade Kingdom. Nacht must have had this information about Asta and Liebe's magic from someone who knows Asta and Liebe and knows the true potential of anti-magic. Possibly even from Julius himself, which is again very suspicious, or from someone who is a devil but is not in contact with the evil part of the underworld. All of this means that Nacht met someone who most likely could even be Asta's father and may even be in contact with Julius. This person who might be Asta's father could be Astaroth, the Time Devil, and she'll be the only one who knows Asta's past except Lisita, who is no longer alive. However, this will be a topic in a major video that is already in the works and it will be released in a few days. If you don't want to miss it, subscribe with the notification bell on, otherwise YouTube will not notify you. It is also interesting to mention the fact that although Yami will only have his own squad in 2-3 years, he already knew that he will become a captain of his own squad, which means that Julius had already told him this before, and on the other hand, this means that Julius always intended to make Yami and William captains of their own squad, maybe even already when he first met them. This only makes him more suspicious, not gonna lie. I just want to make one thing very clear here. Just because I think that Julius is in contact with Astaroth, the devil of time, I don't 100% think Julius is possessed by Astaroth. I know, I made a theory about it, but I am aware that there are several options. Firstly, Julius can be Astaroth himself, as in demonology, Astaroth changes his appearance to human. Julius could also just be in contact with Astaroth because both have time magic. Maybe Julius is really planning bad things even though he has good intentions. We have no clear evidence to specify how exactly Julius is in contact with devils, but no one can deny the fact that Julius is not telling the full truth and is very likely following his own plan regardless of whether it is good or bad. Just to make this clear, Yami appeared and told him that one day he would have his own squad and asked him to be his vice captain. Yami takes Nacht's pack of cigarettes, lights a cigarette and leaves. And now we know how and why Nacht stopped smoking and why Yami started smoking. Not the best solution in my opinion, but still our assumption that Yami has this habit indirectly from Nacht and is the reason why Nacht quit smoking has proven true. Then something very beautiful happened. Nacht asked 2 of his devils to unite with him. Plamid and Wagner both said yes, and that Nacht showed them something that can never be seen in the underworld. This means that Lisita was always right, and devils are literally not evil creatures, but grew up in an evil environment characterized by a sick hierarchy where the high ranks bully the lower ranks. And if you do not participate in that tradition, you put yourself lower than others. The only way to survive the underworld is to follow the rules. But Nacht showed his devils the world how peaceful it can be and how it is different from life in hell. The devils experienced sadness, happiness and love. Nacht's devils have changed and no longer want to be part of the system in the underworld. And so did Nacht and his 2 devils unite. Gallus, Phallus. The fact that we now know that devils have the ability to fuse opens a huge new possibility in the world of Black Clover. Of course, we can say that this is only due to the fact that both devils are united by the unit mode, and this is only possible because they lost the binding ritual, and therefore Nacht can combine both. But it still shows that fusions are theoretically possible. 2 bodies can merge together. That means characters like the devils Lilith and Nama, who always speak of themselves as if they were one person, could potentially merge too. If you look at the character design and how they both use the power together, it looks like they are two pieces of the same puzzle. They even use one spell together. I can see a fusion coming between Lilith and Nama in the next few chapters, fighting against Asta. Nacht's magic increased so that he can even compete with high-ranking devils. He still plans to prison Lilith and Nama in his shadow place for eternity, and it looks like a stone slab with demonic rooms popped up from the ground, and suddenly everything started to burn and freeze at the same time. Both high-ranking devils increased their magical power extremely and defeated Nacht with just a single attack. Nacht said that they destroyed something that doesn't exist, and that's pretty interesting. What exactly happened? Did they destroy the Shadow Place and therefore return to the Spade Kingdom? Or does Nacht refer to something else? Nacht is not finished yet and got on his knees ready to fight, but was attacked again immediately. We see Nacht's devil on the ground. I don't know what this means, but we see that the masks are broken and maybe both are dead, which would be pretty sad and another death for which Nacht will blame himself. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Are both devils dead or are they still alive? Let's hope if they are really dead that Nacht can somehow bring them back to life, considering that he must have knowledge of necromancy based on the reference Tabata used for his family Faust. And from the way I have seen how Nacht and his devils treat each other, I believe that Nacht, if they survive this war, will most likely release his devils or maybe even make an equal human-devil contract just like Asta and Liebe. It just doesn't seem like Nacht and his devils have a relationship in which one has to obey the other in order to protect each other. I believe they became something more like friends rather than slaves. This was already noticeable when Nacht asked Pulamid to please die with him. This is no sentence you use if you have no emotional relation to the devils. Lilith and Nama just played with Nacht the whole time and didn't really fight seriously. Nacht says that there is no human who can possibly defeat the high-ranking devils. But in the next moment, Asta appeared and saved Nacht, just as we predicted. Asta will fight both devils, and this will give us the first chance to understand just how strong Asta's devil unit mode Black Guardian actually is. The important part here is that Nacht said that no human can win against the high-ranking devils. But then Asta appears and literally cuts off one of the devil's arm. Then it is said that if there's one, it would only be the anti-magic. First of all, anti-magic is not Asta's ability, it is Libe's. So saying that Asta is the anti-magic human doesn't work out. And second, the way the sentence was placed could be seen symbolically, meaning that it was first mentioned that there is no human who can defeat the high-ranking devils, but then make Asta appear and save Nacht, and only after that it was said that if there's one, it will only be the anti-magic. It looks like it could be a symbolic foreshadowing, but if Asta is not a human, then what can he be? This is where our good old theory come into play that Asta is a human hybrid. We have always said that Yuki Tabata's first manga Hungry Joker was cancelled after only about 20 chapters, so he could never show the audience what he really had planned. The reason Hungry Joker failed was that the reader didn't enjoy the world building. It is very noticeable how Yuki Tabata simply readapted the plot of Hungry Joker in a new world, in Black Clover. One of the main characteristics of the main character in Hungry Joker is that he is a devil hybrid. Although Tabata did not use the term devil in the world of Hungry Joker, it is still obvious that the evil race is similar to the devils in Black Clover. Now in Black Clover we have Asta, who has no mana and who happens to have a foster brother who not only happens to have the same mother, but also has the same hairstyle, height and age. Coincidentally, Liebe has anti-magic, which happens to only allow Asta to use it. Almost as if Asta and Liebe has always belonged to each other, like two parts of a body, where one has the life force and the other has the magic. One was born in the human world and the other in the underworld. It seems like it is possible that Asta and Liebe are not just real siblings, but literally supposed to be one person. And together they make a devil-human hybrid, just like the main character in Hungry Joker. This was just our introduction to our video coming out next week. We will explain why Asta and Liebe are actually one person, who Asta's and Liebe's father is, and why Lisita always knew that Liebe was her child and not just a random devil. If you don't want to miss this theory, subscribe to our channel with the notification bell turned on. Otherwise YouTube will not notify you when we upload a new video, and this theory will be worth it. Like this video and let us know in the comments what you think of the latest chapter. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.